Hello, welcome to Beau Hannam Guitars. So in this video, I'm going to show you how I insert my neck bolt, or rather my insert and insert. So I'll describe the tools as I go along, but what I first do is I set the neck angle probably about 90% done. So with this, I've set the neck correctly this way and also this way. And how I set a neck is, at this stage, if I'm just holding the neck on like this, I usually do it in the vertical position, but you get the idea. And I put a straight edge on here, and if it's just a single plane from here to here. And then once I put a bolt in here and bolt it up, then I can fine tune it, because when you bolt it in, it gives a little bit different pressure, so it might be different, might be perfect. So what I do is I measure the distance and halve it, and then half of the mortise, and drill a 1/4 inch hole, which corresponds to the bolts that I use. And then I put the quarter inch drill bit back into the hole until it's not sticking out. And then I put the neck in, and I line it up by just putting like a temporary kind of fingerboard, inverted commas, just a flat bit of wood that helps me maintain this plane. So I'm pushing it kind of the neck into the body and down, but I'm also kind of forcing it up as well. And then I just push the drill bit into the neck and twist it, and that gives me this little point here. And that is what I need to do my next part, which one second. When I start these videos, I don't really know where I'm going to go with it all, so I'm ill-prepared a little bit in regard to how to boost my camera up. Okay. So put the neck in here. I might try and change this angle. Bear with me for a second. So from there, okay, so from having this point, what I do is take one of these Dowel jigs, neck insert. So I have to line up this hole with that point. So this is the drill bit that I use to, which corresponds with the inserts that I use, and you know, whatever you use, you just have to figure out the width. So looking through here, you can see I've just got to line this up a little bit more, and I'm just tapping this over, and I went way too far. Where am I? So that's falling in place, and I just check that by just, you know, checking that it falls in place. And because the drill bit is a little bit not the perfect width of the hole, you sort of try and get a reasonable idea of the middle. And this is the depth, stop the masking tape. Okay. So for some reason, the point that I poke into this tenon is a little bit off center, so when you put this on, the drill bit is off to the side. So when that happens, I just pack out whichever side with some veneers until it's until the drill bit goes in, because you're working off, this isn't kind of the master hole or point of reference. The drill bit or the drill hole that you drill in the body is kind of the point of reference. So from there, well, there's two sorts of threads. Well, they're both the same type of thread, but they're just a little bit different. I'll show you. So I've got this type, which I get from the local hardware store, and they correspond with these bolts. And I just got these these, which is the same internal thread, 1/4 inch by 20, and these, I haven't tried these yet, but they're for hardwood, and the thread is sharper. There's more of them, and they feel a bit more solid than these ones. But I've been using these for like 6 years and they're fine. But these, they're actually cheaper. It's sort of, I don't know, $12 for 25. These are about $1 each. I was going to use this one today, but because you can see the drill that or the hole that I would have had to drill is much wider here. I'm just going to use the ones that I set up to use. So what I use to install these threads is this. I think it's called a T-wrench thread inserter, and you get them from, I think, Woodcraft or Rocklear, and eBay or Amazon. They're cheap. They're like under $10, and these ones I insert with this thread with this kind of gap, the two gaps, sort of downwards, and on the website these ones also have this slot that goes across this way, and they have their own insertion tool, but it's not one of these, and you'll see why I like this. So the problem with trying to do this freehand, which is what I used to do a couple of times, it's really, really difficult to put in the thread or the insert vertically this way, or correct this way and correct this way. So call it the X and the Y. Even if, like, you look even if you're looking down this way and you're looking down this way, I found it really, really hard to get it straight down. So what I do now is just use this, and it's a piece of piss. So you have to put this in first, and then put that on. There's another trick that I will show you. So you could use some kind of wax for this, but I use this product because I have it. Howard's Feed and Wax wood polishing conditioner. Wax would actually be better. Actually, I've got some petroleum jelly somewhere around, but let's see if I can find that. That would be even better because it's kind of thicker. So you'll see why I'm doing this. Just put some on there. Put this back in there. Put the insert in. Sometimes I've put a washer in there as well, and that works good. And then you can see that that just falls straight into that hole. It's kind of guided by the front part that doesn't have a thread on it, so that's good. And you can just make sure about that by turning it, and that looks good. Okay, so obviously now this is lined up perfectly this way, and when this edge is lined up hard against the cheek of the heel, it's lined up perfectly this way. So you can't go wrong, you can't stuff it up. You can't stuff it up. So screw that in. And then super glue, thin super glue. And then just let that go off. I did try and take that out just to show you what I do without all this stuff, but I put the CA glue on just to seal it all. But sometimes, actually I would say usually, if I try and do that, this doesn't come out, because just with the force of screwing it in, it kind of it squishes itself a little bit into the brass, and it's hard to get out. That's why sometimes I put the do I have it here? Sometimes I put a washer on the between here and this, and that stops any problems with it binding. But I'll just accelerate this. Okay. I don't have a washer here, but yeah. So you just put a washer in between this and this here, and that just stops it squishing in. But it's not really a problem. If you can't get it out, then just CA glue it with it all in place. But you just have to leave the insert a little bit proud, just so you definitely don't get any CA glue in there. So what I do from here is just really soak it, just so this is definitely never going to come out. And I usually just give this entire tenon a going over with thin CA, because I think there's some petroleum jelly on there, so it's not really sinking in. But you know, if it's going to limit any cracks or something that might happen just because of the insert being in there. And try and make this as wide as possible. If you make a really thin tenon, you just have more chance of it blowing out or cracking because you're squishing in an insert. So, actually I can show you one other thing. Try and find my longest insert. So you can see that's in straight this way, and then if I go this way, you can see it's in straight as well. So it's a really good method, and I'm really glad that I realized it. Some things I realized like 20 years after starting, and sometimes I realize it just 6 months after doing it. So so the things you need, depending on the insert that you're using, T-wrench, and or if you use Easy Lock, they've got their own kind of branded T-wrench thing, but you can't use, by the looks of it, I've only seen it on Amazon, you can't use their T-wrench in one of these. It's not long enough, but you can use one of these with the Easy whatever it's called, Easy Lock inserts. So one of those, a Dowel Jig. This is from, actually I got this at a yard sale, so I don't really know where it's from, but you can get one from Harbour Freight for, I don't know, $15. The expensive ones are like $70, $60. I don't know why you need one. I've never really looked to see if it's got a brand. Hastings, Michigan, Dowel Go company. So, I don't know. That's what I got. Yeah, that's about it. That will help put any inserts in. So this is a ukulele neck where I only put one insert right in the middle. For guitars I put 2 inserts. And I'd put them kind of as high as I can and as low as I can for stability. But I hope that has benefited your knowledge. The other thing that I do, which I have another video on, is I use a pen reamer or countersinker to get that countersink in there, and that is so these bolts, they sit below this line, and I put a decorative label just here to cover all that. So there you go, that's it. Hope you learned something. If you like videos like this and you want to see more, subscribe and hit the little bell, which I think it tells you when I post another video. I try not to post crap. And if you want to hear or learn something specific, let me know and I'll try and work that into my schedule. Thank you very much. Bye.